Welcome, I'm Sean MacDermott, Chief Instrument Flight Instructor for Vincennes University. In this video, you'll learn how to enter and maintain a holding pattern. A holding pattern is a procedure that keeps aircraft within specified airspace while awaiting further clearance from air traffic control. Aircraft may be required to hold for a variety of reasons, including maintaining separation from another aircraft, high volumes of traffic at your destination, radar outages, or simply giving you a place to figure things out if you can't make it into your destination airport. Holding traffic requires separation from other IFR traffic. This is accomplished by managing the holding pattern's size and location. A standard holding pattern uses right turns, and a non-standard holding pattern uses left turns. ATC clearances will specify left turns when a non-standard pattern is to be flown. The standard holding pattern is a racetrack pattern with turns to the right and 1-minute legs, unless above 14,000 feet MSL, where 1.5-minute legs should be used. Pilots are expected to compensate for the effects of wind by adjusting outbound timing to achieve a 1-minute inbound leg and flying an outbound heading that compensates for crosswinds. The first step to properly flying a holding pattern is interpreting your ATC clearance. If the assigned holding pattern is published on a chart or procedure, ATC may simply state, turn left direct VACSAG and hold as published. If the assigned holding pattern is not published, ATC will include the general compass direction from the fix the aircraft should maintain, the name of the holding fix, the radial, course, bearing, airway, or route on which the aircraft should hold, the leg length and direction of turns, if necessary, and the time to expect further clearance and any additional pertinent information. For example, Sirius November 48 Victor uniform. Hold east of the Shelbyville VOR on the 090 radial. Expect further clearance in 10 minutes. Since turn direction and leg length weren't indicated in the clearance, we assume right turns and 1-minute legs. Once the clearance has been interpreted, it's time to determine the correct procedure to enter the holding pattern to become established. The FAA recommends 3 methods of entry depending on the direction of approach to the holding pattern. To determine which method to use, draw a line extending the holding course straight through the holding fix to the opposite side. Then draw another line nearly perpendicular to the first line, but skewed 20 degrees in the direction of the turns. If you're approaching from the largest of the 3 sectors, you should use the direct entry method. If you're approaching from the middle-sized sector, use the parallel entry method. If you're approaching from the smallest of the 3 sectors, use the teardrop entry method. To perform a direct entry, simply fly directly to the holding fix, then begin the turn to the outbound heading for the holding pattern. For a parallel entry, fly directly to the fix, then proceed outbound on the inbound course for at least 1 minute. Then turn into the holding pattern more than 180 degrees and either fly direct to the holding fix or intercept the inbound course and then proceed to the fix and begin the hold. For a teardrop entry, fly directly to the fix, then turn to fly a 30-degree angle into the holding pattern for 1 minute. Then begin a turn toward and intercept the inbound course and proceed to the holding fix. Once you have entered the holding pattern, it will be necessary to correct for the effects of the wind on the ground track of the aircraft. The first complete lap after the entry should be flown without correction for the wind in order to establish the baseline for which corrections should be made. However, if you're confident in the corrections you need to make, it may be a good idea to begin applying those corrections. Each subsequent lap should apply additional corrections until the inbound leg can be intercepted cleanly after finishing the turn from the outbound end, and then flown for as close to 1 minute as possible. To correct for a headwind or tailwind, note the time between becoming established inbound and crossing the holding fix. If the time is less than 1 minute, add the time you were short to the next outbound leg. If the time is greater than 1 minute, subtract the time over 1 minute from your next outbound leg. Correcting for crosswind is mostly about compensating for the difference in turn radius between your inbound and outbound turns caused by the wind's effect on your ground speed. While established inbound, turn to fly a heading that tracks your course and note the angular difference between the aircraft's ground track and heading. Triple the angle and apply the value to your outbound heading in the direction of the wind. This method should prevent large, unplanned corrections to intercept your inbound leg. On subsequent laps, make additional changes to your outbound heading until you can roll out of the turn from your outbound leg and be well established on your inbound leg. While holding, it's a good idea to reduce power and decrease airspeed to low cruise in order to conserve fuel and reduce the overall size of your holding pattern. Finally, take note of your expect further clearance time and be ready for whatever procedure or clearance may be coming next. If you haven't received a new clearance by your AFC time, it's probably a good idea to query ATC. Thank you for joining me to learn about holding patterns. Look for our other videos to learn additional safe takeoff, flight, and landing procedures.